Welcome back to the Day's Adventure Podcast. I'm your host, David Visser, and this is episode 2, The Arrival. In our last episode, we laid the groundwork for this incredible journey, a safari through Tanzania. Now, the adventure truly begins. Let me take you to the moment we landed in Addis Ababa International Airport, a bustling hub that serves as one of the largest and busiest airports in Africa. Stepping off the plane, the first thing that struck me was the energy. Travelers from all corners of the globe moving purposely towards their next destination. It reminded me of walking through downtown New York City during morning rush hour. There was a rhythm to it, an unspoken flow that swept you along. The crowds were vast, but surprisingly reassuring. Hundreds of travelers, all with their own stories, their dreams, and destinations, united in this shared moment of transit. Navigating through the airport was seamless, and as we moved towards our connecting gate, we were greeted by an unexpected and delightful surprise. It was the Ethiopian New Year. Now, thanks to their unique 13-month calendar, Ethiopia celebrates its New Year in mid-September, and the festive atmosphere was energizing. The airport was alive with vibrant decorations. Golden blooms of mesquite flower adored every corner, and the sweet scent of food wafting from nearby shops was an irresistible blend of spices, fresh herbs, and sizzling flavors that danced in the air, promising a feast rich in tradition. Having a few hours to wait before our connecting flight, we treated ourselves to the famous Ethiopian coffee, rich, bold, and aromatic. We also had fresh fruit juices that gave us a refreshing taste of East Africa before reaching Tanzania. Now, the mesquite flower, a symbol of Ethiopian New Year, was everywhere. Its golden petals blanketed the entrances to shops, marking a season of renewal. Palm leaves covered the shop floors, adding to the festive ambiance. It was a perfect prelude to our African adventure. After soaking in the festivities, it was time for our connecting flight to Kilimanjaro. As we boarded, my excitement began to build with every passing second. I kept glancing at the flight tracker, watching eagerly as the miles between us and Tanzania diminished. And then, as we began our descent, the cabin became alive with quiet anticipation. Outside the window, we approached Kilimanjaro. At first, it was hidden, shrouded in thick clouds, almost as if it was teasing us with its grandeur. But as we drew closer, the clouds began to part like curtains on a stage. And there it was, Kilimanjaro. The tallest mountain in Africa stood before us. Its snow-capped peak rose high above the clouds, a silent guardian of the wildlands below. It was breathtaking, larger than life, and more awe-inspiring than I had ever imagined. That moment, seeing Kilimanjaro for the first time, was pure magic. My heart raced as I took in this magnificent mountain, realizing that a dream I had nurtured for so long was now a reality. It was like a turning point, the beginning of something extraordinary. The anticipation was electric, and as we touched down on Tanzanian soil, I knew this was the start of an adventure that would stay with me forever. Fueled by Ethiopian coffee and the sheer excitement of finally arriving, and we were buzzing with energy. Before heading off, we did what any excited group of travelers would do. We took a group selfie right in front of Kilimanjaro Airport. It was a simple but meaningful moment, capturing the start of our adventure with the mountain's majestic silhouette looming in the distance. The airport itself was a modest single building, dwarfed by the towering presence of Mount Kilimanjaro behind it, a constant reminder of where we were. Even with the shadow of Kilimanjaro watching over us, the airport itself was full of life. Travelers bustled around, many of them climbers preparing to embark on their journey to the mountain's peak. The air was filled with a sense of purpose. Everyone seemed to be gearing up for their own version of an adventure. Customs was straightforward, despite the lingering COVID protocols. And soon enough, we were through. And there, just beyond the customs area, was our driver, holding that sign, the Visser Party. It meant the journey was truly on its way. We gathered our bags and piled into the truck that would take us to our first destination, Arusha. The anticipation was almost tangible as we settled into our seats, ready to soak in the landscapes and the experience that awaited us. And just like that, we were off, leaving the airport behind and driving headfirst into Tanzania's wild beauty. As we drove from the airport, the landscape unfolded before us like a living, breathing painting. The wide expanse of open plains, dotted with trees, stretched out in every direction. And the colors were something else. One of the most striking sights along the highway was a parade of colorfully painted trucks that rumbled past us. These weren't just ordinary trucks. They were moving works of art, each one adorned with vivid murals, portraits of wrestlers like The Rock and Hulk Hogan, mixed with American pop culture, all framed in Christian motifs and messages of faith. Every truck had its own personality, its own story, a bold and beautiful expression of the driver's world. We passed bustling villages where life thrummed with activity. Open-air markets were alive with color and sound. Vendors selling fruits, vegetables, clothing, and trinkets, their stalls covered in vibrant fabrics and goods. The roads were filled with motorcycles and pedestrians, families navigating the day's business. The homes we saw were a mix of cinder blocks and traditional mud structures, standing side by side, a juxtaposition of the old and the new, tradition and contemporary, the hum of daily life, the laughter of children, the clatter of market goods. It was all so alive. As we entered Arusha, the city greeted us like a gateway to an adventure. It's nestled at the base of Mount Meru, a towering volcano that, while often overshadowed by Kilimanjaro, stands proud on its own. Meru is sacred to the local tribes, and its presence looms large over the city. The mountain is an ecological sanctuary, home to everything from dense forests to stark alpine deserts. As we moved into the heart of the city, I felt a shift in the air, a sense of anticipation, knowing that this was just the beginning. Finally, we arrived at Mount Meru Hotel, surrounded by lush gardens and flowering trees. Our first meal in Tanzania was a unique take on nachos, locally styled with a hot tomato gravy, cheese, and Doritos, kind of reminiscent of Sloppy Joe's. It was surprisingly delicious, and I washed it down with my first Kilimanjaro lager. As exhaustion from the long journey began to catch up with us, we finally retired to our rooms. Outside the window, the silhouette of Mount Meru stood tall, bathed in the faint glow of the late afternoon sun, a quiet sentinel watching over us. The time zone change and hours of travel weighed heavy on our eyes and our bodies, yet my mind raced with anticipation for the adventure that awaited us the next day. The bed felt like a sanctuary, and as I drifted off to sleep, the distant hums of crickets and the soft rustle of leaves outside created a soothing lullaby. The next morning, I woke up to a symphony of bird songs and gentle warmth of the Tanzanian sun streaming through the window. It was one of those perfect moments where the world feels still, as if nature itself is inviting you to pause and take it all in. The air was crisp and carried a subtle floral sweetness, hinting at the lush gardens that surrounded the hotel. After breakfast, we gathered for our safari briefing. Our guide for the next 7 days was James Ururo, a seasoned expert with over 20 years worth of experience in the Serengeti. His calm, knowledgeable demeanor immediately put us to ease. He wasn't just a guide, he was a storyteller, ready to lead us into the heart of Tanzania's wild landscapes. Our safari vehicle was an impressive truck, designed for maximum wildlife viewing, complete with a pop-up roof and sliding windows. But before we left for the wild, we took a brief tour of Arusha, visiting landmarks like the Arusha Declaration Monument, a powerful symbol of Tanzanians' nationalism. This monument represents the core values of familyhood, which has shaped much of Tanzania's communal ethos. After visiting the Arusha Declaration Monument and taking in its profound history, we spent a few hours touring the vibrant city of Arusha, a place where around 600,000 people call home. Now, the city is alive with energy, a fascinating blend of modern development and deep-rooted traditions. As we moved through its bustling streets, it became clear that Arusha was more than just a gateway to the wild. It was a thriving hub of culture, commerce, and community. We saw so many walks of life here. The traditional Maasai tribesmen adorned with their signature red sherkas and beadwork, walking confidently alongside shop owners tending to their businesses. Government workers hurried between offices in their crisp attire, contrasting with the casual vibrancy of the street vendors. The open-air markets were a symphony of color and motion, with vendors displaying everything from fresh produce and spices to handmade crafts and vibrant fabrics. The air was thick with the scent of roasting corn, exotic spices, and the occasional waft of diesel from the bustling traffic around us. Each corner we turned seemed to reveal a new layer of life. Women balanced baskets of fruit on their heads with effortless grace, while motorcycles buzzed by laden with goods. Children played in the parks and the playgrounds, their laughter cutting through the din of the city. Arusha's rhythm was intoxicating, a blend of chaos and harmony that seemed to work perfectly in its own unique way. But it wasn't just the sights that captivated me, it was the people. Everywhere we went, we were met with warm smiles and waves. There was a sense of community here, an unspoken connection that seemed to bind everyone together, despite the hustle and the bustle. It felt like the city where tradition and progress coexisted seamlessly, each contributing to the character of this city. After soaking in the sights and sounds of this incredible city, we were ready for lunch. And what a better place than the Arusha Coffee Lodge. Nestled on the edge of the city, this tranquil oasis promised us not only a delicious meal, but also a glimpse into the artisanal creativity that makes Tanzania so special. The Arusha Coffee Lodge's peaceful grounds were a world away from the busy streets, offering a calm and welcoming retreat. The towering trees around the lodge were heavy with blossom that filled the air with a sweet floral scent. The dining area was open air, surrounded by these giant flowering trees, and the fragrance mingled with the fresh mountain breeze. But the true highlight was the glass-blowing demonstration. We stood mesmerized as the artisans worked, shaping molten glass into delicate, intricate forms. The dance of fire and molten glass were mesmerizing. The precision, the skill, the creativity involved were astounding. At one point, they even crafted a 20-foot long straw, only to cut it into smaller pieces. Each creation was a testament to the artistry and the craftsmanship of the team. The initiative behind this project, employing people with disabilities, gave even more meaning to the experience. It wasn't just about the art, it was about creating opportunity, purpose, and beauty. in equal measure. Then came lunch, an array of fresh fruits and vegetables, picked just that morning. The flavors were so vibrant, each bite bursting with freshness and life. We dined in the courtyard surrounded by nature, and the meal was a celebration of richness of the land. It was a peaceful pause before we ventured deeper into the Tanzanian wilderness. Finally, we left Arusha behind and made our way to Tarangire National Park. The road was long, dusty, and bumpy, but the excitement in the air was electric. As we approached the gates, we were greeted by a mischievous monkey, clearly hoping to snag a snack from the parked vehicles. But the real moment of awe came when we saw the massive elephant skull displayed near the gates, a powerful symbol of the giants that roam these lands. As we stood there, taking in the sights, I noticed that there were other skulls scattered around, skulls from antelopes, wildebeest, and even smaller creatures. Each one bleached by the sun told its own story, a reminder of the life and death that play out daily in the wilds of Tarangire National Park. It was both humbling and exhilarating. And of course, I got my camera ready, and the first photo I took was of a lilac-breasted roller, perched in a tree about 500 meters away. Its vibrant plumage simmered in the sunlight, iridescent pinks, purples, and blues that seemed almost too vivid to be real. It was perfect introduction to the wonders of this park, a small glimpse of the beauty we were about to encounter. Now James, our guide, handed in all the paperwork that was needed to enter the park, and soon we were driving through the park gate. My heart raced with anticipation. The landscape before us was like something out of a dream, stunning, raw, and untouched. This was it. The adventure we had been dreaming of was finally underway, and the beauty of Tarangire was more than we could have imagined. Leaving the cheeky monkey behind to get into trouble with the next group of visitors, hoping to sneak into their jeep for food and chaos, we passed through the gates of Tarangire National Park. Passing through the gates of Tarangire, it felt like stepping into another world, a world I had only glimpsed through Instagram photos, YouTube videos, and wildlife documentaries. I'd prepared myself for the possibility of seeing animals far into the distance, maybe catching a glimpse of movement in the bushes. But what we experienced blew my expectations right out of the water. Just minutes into the park, the first test of our patience was gloriously interrupted. Not far from the dusty road, about 300 meters away, appeared a sight so serene it seemed surreal. A majestic giraffe accompanied by her calf. While I've seen giraffes in zoos, nothing truly could have prepared me for the profound impact of witnessing these elegant creatures in their natural habitat. The way the mother and her calf reached up into the branches, nibbling leaves with their super long tongue, was an image of peaceful coexistence with nature. Their intricate brown and white patterns were not just striking, they were a masterclass in camouflage, allowing these towering animals to blend seamlessly into the surrounding flora. It's remarkable how their long necks, topped with a thick mane, seem to dissolve into the backdrop of the park. Observing their graceful, synchronized movements was thrilling. Giraffes are the tallest mammals on Earth. Their iconic long necks and equally long legs give them a height advantage that is crucial for both foraging and keeping a lookout for predators. Despite their height, these gentle giants have a surprising grace, moving with a gait that's both odd and awe-inspiring. They concurrently lift the legs on one side of their body and then the other. This unique way of walking is known as pacing. It helps maintain their balance and provides a smooth motion. As we lingered, capturing photos and marveling at these serene giants, Another iconic African animal caught our attention nearby. A small herd of zebra, including a watchful mother and her playful yearling. Now, zebras, with their eye-catching black and white stripes, are among the most recognizable creatures of the African plains. These stripes serve to confuse predators and regulate a zebra's body temperature. Like giraffes, each zebra's stripe pattern is unique, aiding researchers in individual identification. Zebras are incredibly fast, capable of running up to 65 kilometers per hour to escape predators. Their stripes may blur during a chase, making it difficult for predators to target a single animal. This, coupled with their excellent eyesight and acute hearing, makes zebras well adapted to the challenges of their environment. But just as we were soaking in this incredible moment, the radio crackled to life. James picked up the CB, his face lighting up as he turned to us with a grin. "There's been a sighting," he announced. "One of the big five." The excitement in the Jeep was instant. We stopped shooting, we put our cameras down, and sat tight as James expertly turned the vehicle, heading towards what would be our very first counter with one of Africa's legendary Big Five. And that's where the next adventure begins. In the next episode, we'll take you straight into the heart of Tarangere, where our first Big Five encounter awaits. Trust me, it's an unforgettable moment that you don't want to miss. So stay tuned, because the adventure is just getting started. That's it for this episode of The Day's Adventure. Remember, stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop chasing the next great adventure. The world is full of wonders, and your next journey is just one episode away. To keep the adventure alive, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the video versions and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Want more? Hit subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you'll never miss the next thrilling episode. The world's waiting. See you next time on The Day's Adventure.